Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Obviously today we're going to be going through Liu Kang and Khameleon together. If you like this video, obviously drop a like, and if you want to see more content like this or game content from such as Dead by Daylight or Rainbow Six Siege, drop a sub. It literally costs you nothing, and it helps my channel a long way, so it'll be very much appreciated. So, let's say this is your first time playing Khameleon, or you've been playing Khameleon for a while and you don't really understand how she works. Congratulations, I have this part covered for you. However, if you understand how a Khameleon works, you probably skip over this to using the timestamp below to a part that you want to see. Anyhow, let's get into it. First of all, I want to mention that Khameleon has one move by herself where she turns white. Now, you can see that white is not on this graph. It's because she has access to this move all the time, no matter what variation she is in. So, you don't have to worry about any of that interfering with the gameplay. Now, getting into this variation, as you can see, Khameleon is always in one of three variations, whether it's Kitana, whether it's Mileena or Jade. Now, it is totally random which variation you'll start the match with. You could start the match with Mileena, you could start it with Jade, or you could start with Kitana. It does not matter. You'll always randomly get selected a variation of Khameleon to play with at the start of the game. What never changes about this character though? Let's say you start the game off with Kitana. You have 6 seconds at the start of the game to use Kitana's moves. If you do not, and you wait out the 6 seconds, you'll move on to Mileena, who now has given you 6 seconds of Mileena. If you don't use that, then you move on to Jade, which Khameleon gives you 6 seconds of Jade, and after that time has passed, you go back to Kitana, and that is the entire cycle. That is how it is always going to be. No matter which variation you start with, it will always go in this order. Now, what you can alter about Khameleon's variations is the timing. I said it will always be 6 seconds, and you will always have 6 seconds to play with. However, let's say you start off the game with Mileena this time. So you'll open your opponent up within pretty early circumstances within the 6 seconds, let's say within 2 seconds, and then you use her ball roll. Now, if you hold the Kameo button, not any directional button, but just the Kameo button on Mileena after the ball roll, she will turn into Jade. So after 2 seconds of using Mileena plus the ball roll timing, she will turn into Jade automatically. And this will, as soon as she turns from pink to green, she does a stance where she visually shows you that she turns from pink to green. As soon as she turns green, your 6 second timer has begun. Now obviously you can't use Jade straight away within that 1 second of transitioning into it, because she has to transition, then has a tiny cooldown, and then she can use a move. So your timer for 6 seconds as soon as she turns green begins. Now, this happens for Kitana, this happens for Mileena, it happens for every single variation. So you use a Jade Glave and you hold the Kameo button, and you've only used 4 seconds of Jade. She's going to turn into Kitana as soon as she turns blue. You're going to have 6 seconds of Kitana to use. And then same, let's say you use a fan lift, then you have 6 seconds of Mileena via Khameleon as soon as he turns pink, right? That is the general gist of how to play Khameleon. Now, understand that this is always, just understand that she is always going to be in the cycle no matter what variation she starts with, right? And according to a move, and when you tell her to stance switch, that will alter the timing of the variations. Other than that, you're going to be fine. This is how you play Khameleon. And one tricky thing that you sort of have to keep in mind when you're playing this character is you need like an internal clock timer in your brain for every 6 seconds. That is like the most easiest way to play this character. Now, I understand most people aren't used to doing this, but it is a skill that you can pick up and use. So you can count 6 seconds at the start of the game, and then, you know, there's 6, and then 6 again. Or when you tell her to stand switch, you see her change color straight away. You can count 6 seconds in your brain. I know it's a bit of a difficult skill to possess, but it is possible. It is very doable. So before we get on to the variations, I want to show you guys one move that Khameleon actually gets by herself, and that is Broken Mirror. As you can see, it says halves damage of next receive attack while they're on hit on block. So the way you want to use this is by setting it up, because it's an ambush move, right? So you can use that at any time, literally. See, it just, she comes out no matter what. So the way you want to use this is you can activate this during a gap in your opponent's string, so you can obviously take less damage on block, right? So I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so that string's got a gap, right? So what you can do is literally just block it, and then during the gap you can activate the move. As you can see, it comes out. Now obviously it has a long startup, so it's not immediate, but it's an ambush move and it takes a bit of time, so you got to work it out a little bit. Now the best use of this move, obviously, is when you're actually planning to take damage. When you know you're in a situation that the opponent keeps putting you in, say like, you know, low hat, hard to block balls, and you're just getting caught by it every single time. But that's just a simple ass combo. But you can see it's 27.9%, right? And if you do it without the armor, it's a lot more. So it doesn't affect every hit that you take. It only affects the very first hit, which is the first hit I did was this. As you can see with the armor, it literally takes 72 damage, but when you do it without the armor, it's 97 damage. That armor taking the damage off the first move acts as extra damage combo scaling for the opponent's combo. So that's the difference why you get 27% as to 30%. That's the huge difference of why you actually ever want to use this move. You can use it on block, but like, remember, it only works for one hit and it's extremely situational, but it can get you out of, you know, like, you're literally on 1 health scenarios, but you got to use it like 100 IQ person. Alright, moving on to the actual variations. So before we get into talking about every variation of Khameleon, I'm just going to quickly say this. If you guys only want to see one variation explained, or you only want to see the optimal combos at the end of the video, that's totally fine. You can use the timestamps below to do that. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to get into Mileena. So Mileena has two moves, which is the ball roll, which is neutral Kameo, and then the air size, which is forward Kameo. Those are only two moves you get with Mileena. Mileena is probably the most straightforward variation of Khameleon that you're going to get, because all of her moves are literally for damage. As you can see, if I put the computer on block, I do ball roll on block and it's -17, so fully punishable. It comes out in 18 frames, so there's no gap in between your string and the move coming out, so they can literally just block it and punish you. There's no point trying to interrupt it at all. And then there's air size, which obviously don't hit unless your opponent is in the air. So, getting onto this. Ball roll is literally going to be like your grounded confirm. That's the main thing you're going to use it for. It works at 1-2, which is obviously your standing 6-frame, standing 6-frame move, right? So that's going to be like a staple for you if you have Mileena out at the current time. And you're going to use airside in places where you usually wouldn't be able to continue a combo. For example, you know, so obviously doing optimal combos like the no meter one there with an extension of the air size just gets you more damage, right? And all of the Mileena combos have a lot of corner carrying potential, right? So you can honestly, some combos you could start on the other side of the map and almost corner carry your opponent with a combo to the end of the other side of the map. So that's just things that happen with Mileena, right? It's very simple. It's literally used for damage. Don't use any of her moves on block. Let's move on to the next one. So let's talk about Kitana. And in my opinion, like the most interesting variation of Khameleon, not only because I like Kitana, but the actual move that she gives you, which is this move, Forward Kameo. I'm playing Johnny Cage, awesome. Anyway, Forward Kameo. So she does the fan lift for you. This move, I'm sure on a lot of other characters, is insane. On Liu Kang, it's okay. Because Liu Kang has a lot of strings that he can jump off anyway. But usually you don't want to do that because of combo scaling and all that sort of thing. But when you use this, it adds combo scaling to your combo, but it does allow you to, you know, get in the air and use your 1-3-4 string, which does a lot of damage in places that you can't, right? And then her other move, which is neutral cameo, is the fan toss. As you can see, it's -6. No matter how you do it, it's -6. It comes out in 19 frames, so there's no gap in between your string and her doing the move. So that is fully safe on block. Also, if your opponent thinks they're cheeky because the fan hit is 2 moves, right? It's first a mid. I'll show you guys real quick. It's firstly a mid, then a high. If your opponent thinks they're cheeky and can do a dark, right? I'm gonna try again. You still get jailed into the high with the fan. So there's no point trying to duck the last hit. Just cop the hit and it's automatically your turn because Liu Kang's -6, dude. So he can't literally take his turn back against any character in this game because every character has a 7 or 6 frame something. So that's one point I just want to quickly put out there. Kitana's fan, obviously really good for just keeping yourself safe, but don't overuse it. You can also use it in combos. Now, specifically, I do a lot of these combos in the corner, right? So, bloody Mileena. You can do a lot of combos in the corner. You can do a few in the mid screen, but they're not very optimal, so I didn't put them in the video. But you guys can play around and figure that one out. And like I said, the fan lift is really, really bonkers. Like, we all know that you can do that just because Liu Kang can, right? But because she lifts you so far into the air so early, because it's like cancelling your string animation into another animation, you get the height so you're below your opponent, so you can keep them across the entire screen with the fireballs, right? That's something Kitana gives you. Although it's a bit of combo scaling, it's pretty good. Now, obviously, what I just showed you wasn't optimal, but you can do crazy stuff in the corner, like oh, this, right? My bad. I haven't done this in a while. So you can do cool stuff like that, right? And that's actually pretty optimal, believe it or not. Even though, like, you don't get the standing 4 in between the back 2 threes, you're much better off doing this into the fan lift. Now, you can do the fireball straight after the first aerial string as well, but the fireballs add so much gravity that it's like not worth it. So that's a general rule of thumb I wanted to point out as well. Yeah, so they just drop immediately. I'll show you guys one more time. Like it. So it's way better to, if you're using Kitana in the corner, right, you can do that just to get that extra 1, 3, 4 string into the fireball, and that does a lot of damage for only one, literally half a cameo usage. That's all you use. You didn't even use any meter. So, you know, that's just things you've got to figure out. Now, from testing, there is a weird, and I'm assuming unintentional bug that they put into the game, but they haven't fixed it because I don't think a lot of people have discovered this. But there is a bug in this game where you can literally restand your opponent with Kitana's Phantos. Like that. You can literally restand and you're +7 to +9 each time, depending on how early you hit them with the Phantos. Or late, right? So there's situations, and like, that's not even just for the corner. That's also for mid-screen. You can also restand your opponent mid-screen. I'll try it again, by the way. I'm not super consistent with it. Yeah, so sometimes it hits them if you're not on the right timing. And then if you do it right, which that is not, it literally restands them into a +7 or +9 scenario, which for half a cameo usage on a Phantos into Liu Kang's forward 4, which is 12 frames, so they have to eat it. They can't armor out of it. They literally can't do anything. Even like characters with super armor like Havoc, they will literally get blown up for trying to armor through the restand. So that's also another strategy you can use. Not just, more so in the corner, but you can use it mid-screen, but obviously you're not going to be as close to the opponent, right? So you have to like micro dash, and that takes a couple frames. Sorry about that. And the last usage for the fan lift is from Fullscreen. I don't know why I kept on right. There we go. There are some scenarios where you can pressure your opponent from Fullscreen. Now, this is not a foolproof strategy. You can push your opponent from Fullscreen with a low fireball. This does, so it works with only this move. It can also work with the enhanced version if you want to do that. But it does not work with this move. It absolutely does not work with the straight fireball because it's too quick. It travels across the screen too fast. But if you do a low fireball into a Phantom, you're in your opponent's face and you're plus. However, use this sparingly because your opponent can literally interrupt this, right? I'm putting on block real quick. So you can see plus 11 like straight off your jump in, right? So you can do this a couple times in a game and get away with it. But if your opponent knows a counterplay to this, you're screwed, right? So I'll just set Liu to do this. Right. That's not right. Okay. So we've got the correct stuff going here. Now, plus 11, like I said, from full screen. Which is fantastic. Which literally allows Liu Kang to go into like literally any string he wants. Problem is, if they see this coming, they can just interrupt you. Right. So this is not a foolproof strategy. Don't use this every time. If they see the low fireball come out, they can literally just anti-air you with a jump kick. Some characters have a really good jump too, like Johnny Cage, like Baraka. Some characters have aerial moves like Baraka. So, you know, those sorts of characters you don't want to do it against. In the interim, if you do your jump kick or jump in punch like really early, you can hit them out of them trying to anti-air you, but it's super inconsistent, and more often than not, 80% of the time, they're going to kick you out of doing it. But that's literally what's going to happen most of the time if you keep spamming it. I'll do it a bit earlier. Right, so that's a jump punch. And then I'll do a jump kick. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, even if you do like a super early jumping kick, your opponent can just see the fireball coming out and then just neutral jump kick and punish you. Johnny Cage, I'm pretty sure, can get a shadow kick, yeah. So don't use this all the time, but you can use this sparingly to get in on your opponent. And most people don't know about the counterplay, but I'm just literally giving you guys a counterplay to this. Right. Sometimes the jump works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just totally up to who presses the button first, literally. There you go. So yeah. It's not a 50-50 in the air, but like I said, use this sparingly to get in on your opponent from full screen. And apply the Liu Kang pressure, but other than that, you don't want to use this all the time, especially if your opponent knows exactly what to do every single time. Anyway, let's get into the next one. So we're on to Jade. And Jade has two moves. Neutral Kameo, which is the good old glaive, which is got a few components to it. And then, dude, I don't even know what's going on with this game. Alright, so I'm going to have a complete section about me just ranting and complaints about this game and specifically the Kameo. But anyway, now, and then the other move is Forward Kameo, which is you have the glove, right, for the anti-zoning. Anti-zoning can literally be done like when there is a string, when you're blocking a string, right, and there's a gap, you can activate it through the gap. And because it takes so long to activate, by the time you're getting hit from the next move that has the gap, right, you can literally backdash into your zoning and they have to just deal with it, unless obviously you have a character like Smoke that can teleport, and that's a different situation. But that's usually how you want to do it. You can also activate it from full screen. Like, it's an anti-zoning move and it helps you zone more, right? I'm pretty sure, like, it's okay on Liu Kang because Liu Kang can zone really well, but on characters like Quan Chi, it's just straight up annoying, and Khameleon is like one of the best cameos for Quan Chi. Anyway, we're gonna talk about basically the glaive the entire time when we're on Jade, because this move has a few properties to it. First of all, I want to mention, as you can see, the startup is 26 frames, which means there is a gap between you doing a string and this move. So you can't just willy-nilly do this because you can literally get poked out of it, right? There's enough time for a literal 7-frame punish to hit you, so you die. And this not only deactivates the glaive from actually hitting the opponent, but it also, you know, cancels out your cameo for a few seconds. So you don't do this, you don't just do this all the time, right? You just don't do it all the time. Now, in saying that, in the times you do, it is a good pressure tool. And if the opponent doesn't know about the gap, you can absolutely abuse this. As you can see, the first move, once it hits, is +3, which means pretty much no matter what, Liu Kang can down 1 you and trade in every single situation. Basically, if your opponent is like, you know, Johnny Cage with, I'm pretty sure a 6-frame down 1, and he does a down 1 after this move, and you do it at the same time, you trade, and then the glaive's gonna hit him in the back, and he has to block it, and you're plus, which is like what, plus 62, which is insane. Which at that point you can literally do anything. So don't use this move all the time, but use it sparingly on block. However, the main use of this is what you're going to do in combos, right? You want to use this as a grounded punish. However, I want to talk about combo scaling real quick. When you use this move, don't wait for the second glaive to hit the opponent before you do a move. As you can see, it did 23.3%. And that did 23.6%. In the mid screen, no matter what, the opponent has to hit the second glaive. But with Liu Kang, what you want to do is hit them at least before the second glaive hits, so you get less combo scaling. In the corner, you can totally avoid this. There is a specific timing that you can learn. Sorry, in the wrong settings. There is a specific timing you can learn where you can totally counteract the second glaive even hitting. Obviously that was too early. That was too late. So right there is an example of you just making the second glaive just completely whiff in the combo. And what this does is it allows you to get so much more damage in your combos. Once you get this timing down, you get so much damage out of your combo, it's not funny. And for very little effort, as long as you learn the timing. Now, obviously, like I said before, you can do it too early, in which the combo goes all weird, and then you can do it too late, which the combo will go on fine, but you get extra scaling. So just remember that when you're actually using Jade as Khameleon. Now, like I said, you only want to use this for grounded punishes. However, there is one specific scenario that I'm going to show you guys real quick that you can use in the corner while your opponent is airborne, and I'll put this in the combo section for Jade, right? So what you can do, let me start that again. You can change the arc of the Jade glaive, right? So let me just go full screen so I can show you guys. When you do it normally, you just hit it and see how it goes down and then stays down. You can change it by holding up, and you can change it by holding down. Now you don't have to hold the cameo button, it's just a direction. See how the direction of the glaive changes? This is what you want to do in the corner, because you can do things like this, right? Sorry, it might take me a while because I haven't done this in a while. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of timing and a little bit of practice, but you can do that specific combo, which is optimal for Jade, in that corner with forward 1-4 if you need like that 7-frame punish, you know. or that's like the only way you can punish your opponent, because the 6 frame is like not reaching far enough, right? So that's Jade in a nutshell. Very simple for the anti-zoning. The glaive has a bit of inconsistency, but I showed you guys how to use it with the combo scaling and what to do on block and all that sort of thing. Now, I want to move on to my complaints about this character, because my god, do I have so many. First of all, NetherRealm Studios and WB, what are you doing? What are you doing? I kid you not, I'm trying to make a video. I'm literally trying to make a video, right? And this is not even for content creators. It could be just for you at home right now trying to practice Khameleon. I want Jade. Let's say I want to practice Jade, right? We're going to go into the game. Wow, I got Mileena. By the way, there is no accessibility feature for Khameleon to start the round in practice mode. I don't care if you don't put this in a normal game, because it's totally random and that's fine. But there is no practice setting with Khameleon where you can put the variation that you want to get first so you can practice it. I kid you not. One time I was trying to get Kitana and I got Mileena 6 times in a row. Then I got Jade. Then I got Mileena. Then I got Jade 2 times. Then I finally got Kitana. Like, WB in NetherRealm, what are you doing? What are you doing with this game, dude? Another thing. Some moves of Khameleon are just mad inconsistent. Even though in the combos I showed you guys like how to do it and I explained like the Jade Glave and the Kitana stuff. Dude, there is some situations where I do this, right? Sorry, just give me a second. I don't even have Kitana, bro. Like, it's, trying to stay calm over here, but like, right, I try and do this. What is going on, dude? I'm just being crap right now. Right, and then, so that works, right? And I'm gonna show you guys. You guys saw earlier that you can do this into a fan lift, into that, and because you're in the corner, it stays in the corner, right? Then why on earth does this into in the mid screen? Why on earth does this in the mid screen 1-3 into fan lift into 1-2 or into 1-3-4 fireball not work? Why does it not work? It's literally the exact same gravity scaling. It's the same shit. Another thing, oh my god, the Mileena size are so hard to time, it's not funny. Sometimes it's easy peasy, right? And then sometimes it's just like too late, or it's just too early, and you swear it's the exact same timing. Right. Oh my god. I wish I pre-recorded all of this earlier. I'm not even gonna lie. But and then like, and the worst thing about this Kameo is that you need like an internal clock in your head counting every second so you don't get screwed over by the Kameo that you don't want to use. Like, dude, I saw Ninja Killer doing a combo against Wazimator and he's literally waiting for a freaking Kameo to come around, because obviously he's waiting for the timer to just run out on the Kameo that he's on, which I'm pretty sure was Jade. So he was like doing this. No, he got like into the corner and then hit him with he hit them with Jade, right? And then he got into the corner and then he's just doing this, right? And then he's stuck doing this. I'll show you guys real quick. He's literally stuck doing this in the corner, waiting for the next Kameo to come around, which I'm pretty sure was Mileena, right? Just so he could end the damn combo. And because he's done this twice, like, he's had to put up with a combo scaling, and then like he won the round anyway. But dude, like, the fact, this is why Tremor, in my opinion, is just so much easier to use than Kameo. I'm not going to say he's better, but it's just so much easier because at least you can pick the goddamn variation. The most amount of choice you have with this is literally holding the Kameo move so she changes, and then you reset the timer into the next variation of Khameleon, which you have to wait another 6 seconds, then another 6 seconds, and you get the point. It's just such a poorly thought out character, right? It's not poorly designed, because obviously the design is there. It's just poorly thought out in terms of accessibility, the hits that you get. Like, I'm in the corner sometimes with Mileena on, thank God. And then, like, it will whiff. And then I'll show you the timing for, like, it being way later. And only one side hits, when she clearly, literally hits him with 2 sides. What is this? Literally hits him with 2 sides, but it doesn't work. But it works here. But it works here. I'll show you. It's just a bit later. Like, what? And you know, the reason the second side is whiffing is because he's literally in the corner. He's literally under him. So the second side just whiffs. Every single time, no matter how you time it. But because you're in front and you time it properly, right? Because you're in front of him, both sides hit. But only because you're so close to the opponent, the second side whiffs. This Kameo is so inconsistent, it's not funny. And like, dude, it's not even a skill issue, because you try and do this during a game, and you can practice this for hours, and it will just never work. For whatever, like I said, you're just too close to the opponent, and that's why the second side whiffs. For like no reason. Anyway. I'm sorry about going on a rant for like this Kameo, but honestly, it had to be said. Because NetherRealm and WB aren't doing anything with this game. And I'm just going to make a whole video ranting about something else on this game. But anyway, like I said, if you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. And hope you guys enjoy the combos. I've put them in the timestamps by variation of Khameleon. And just a general rule of thumb, I want to just quickly say this now. Jade into Kitana works. So you do a Jade move and then into a Kitana move, it works, that's fine. A Kitana move in the early part of the combo into a Mileena move works, that's totally fine. But there is no circumstance in which Mileena in the early part of the combo combos into Jade, because Jade's glaive just has so much time and gravity and space and Thanos that I don't even understand, dude. Like, just, you can't even keep them in the air long enough for the glaive to hit them. So anyway, that was a whole nother rant about that move. But anyway, I'm sorry guys, but it's just got to be said. This character's so inconsistent. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the combos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Disappointed.